So the Page of Coins is the childlike energy, the energy of refreshing newness, of kind of like messages, and also just offering us a chance to be new, offering us a chance to respond differently. So in the midst of all of the pain, all the terror that happens, I don't feel like here it's going to be as dramatic with whatever does happen with Queen of Pentacles reverse. I feel like it's going to be painful for other folks. But with the Jupiter and Sagittarian energy, instead of moping and complaining, there's going to be more of an energy about what can we do about this? How can we be proactive, and how can we be helpful and responsive rather than reactive? I'm feeling that vibrate a lot from the heart. So it's going to be an outpouring of sweetness. Interestingly enough, there is going to be an energy of wisdom that accompanies how you respond. How you respond to just the lack of maternal love, the lack of feminine energy, the feelings of feeling neglected or unheard. But I feel like it's not going to come in ways that we're used to, if that makes sense. So with the Six of Cups reversed, this card usually recognizes detachments and close bonds. It recognizes us seeing people for what they really are, but kind of abandoning the views of what we felt like they were before, right? So what I think is really interesting about this card coming up is that it's right over the World reverse. So it's kind of like we're seeing what people really are, and we're not pouring into them in the ways that we would before. So whereas before, when something really traumatic happens, we go to a specific person, we've learned a lesson about that person. We've learned a little bit about how they react. We're learning not to touch the hot stove anymore. We're learning to cater to ourselves in ways that involve nurturing ourselves. So this is definitely important for folks that have been stung by Venus in Scorpio retrograde. This is definitely a nod of courage. This is a nod to keep up the good work. This is a nod to really pay more attention to what you need from yourself. And after you see what you need from yourself, see if there are people that can help you with the after effects. Knowing which friends you can go to talk about this issue. Knowing which friends are just for partying. Always remembering the differences. And knowing that if it feels wrong, don't be there. You know, don't do it. So again, this is us planting new seeds. This is us really divulging into a newer way of responding to ourselves and the issues around us, right? So Four of Pentacles. So of course, you know, Venus and Scorpio retrograde, it hurt a lot of motherfuckers' pockets. I was there for a second, you know what I'm saying? Some people lost their jobs, some people just got their feelings hurt. So save your resources, save your energy, ground yourself. Again, really cute to come up with Page of Coins. Page of Pentacles is the same thing. Really noticing the things that are coming up for you. But also, as we move a little bit deeper into Jupiter and Sagittarius, there are going to be a lot of people that recognize how many gifts they have, how many beautiful blessings, illness that they have. And as opposed to just sharing all of these things with people, bide that. Bide it within yourself. Really ask yourself, how do I want to express myself? How the fuck do I want to show out? How do I want to show out for myself, for my community? And really just keeping that energy to yourself, keeping that creative juice to yourself, but not, you know, like holding it in, expressing it in ways that are just for you first. So I feel like a lot of people are sitting on gold mines and they don't even recognize it yet. But you're going to recognize it. And as you recognize it, really ask yourself, am I going to use this blessing as a way to be spiteful and, you know, be on some back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all want me shit? Or are you going to use it in a manner that empowers you, that helps you recognize how much more was in you than you thought? So I'm getting a strong pull to recommend labradorite. Labradorite is an amazing crystal for doing just that, for kind of helping us see all of the rainbows within ourselves. Wonderful for shadow work, wonderful for shamanic work. And it works in very subtle, chill ways, which is what I love about it. One of the most beautiful crystals I've ever worked with. So whereas last season was more malachite, more like I gotta be gangsta, I gotta, you know, ground myself and, you know, build this financial luck. Labradorite is kind of like, okay, as all of that was happening and as I was kind of rebuking all of that negative energy, what had the chance to incubate within me? What had the chance to grow? What had the chance to start breathing and start sprouting, you know? So being mindful of that. And again, being aware of the folks that you cannot trust with your growth, with your productivity, with your new babies, you know what I mean? It's just like, your brilliant ideas are just like a child. If somebody is sniffling and sneezing and just has some weird fucking energy, you're not gonna let them touch your baby. So do the same thing with your thoughts. Do the same thing with your creative energy, you know? Okay. I'm feeling like that last gem was especially important because, again, 10 of Pentacles. So there's two kinds of energies that are moving with this. There's the energy of feeling like no matter how hard you work, there's always something that topples over. And the energy of, okay, I might have shared that one thing with someone who probably wasn't the person, and I felt the energy move down. I felt like a tightness in my chest. You feel this, you feel that. So again, being very mindful of our mouths, being very mindful of our expressions, being very mindful of what we choose to share, what we choose to hold back, and also kind of not feeding into the social clutter that tells us we have to be transparent, or that we have to be well, let me fix that we have to be transparent about everything we're doing. Yeah, just hold things down for yourself. Because you're not going to want to feel like you've had nothing happening. You're not going to want to feel unfulfilled when you can see everything growing for yourself, right? So, again, this is a really important time to just ground yourself, to just really be present with yourself and not fall into the hype of everything that is happening. Again, there's a lot that can be pretty much pulling you in terms of the internet, in terms of politics, in terms of, you know, collective bullshit, but really just grounding yourself and being aware of the shifts inside of you will do you a world of good. So again, use that page, take in the opportunities that are meant for you and use them. I'm gonna unflip that too, because fuck that, right? Now for the third week, this is the 19th. Aw, damn. Aw, damn. Okay. Ah, shit. This is lit. Alright, cute. So, the 19th finds us on... the 19th finds us on, a very, very interesting cusp. The cusp of Scorpio and Sagittarius. Ironically, the cusp that I was born on, right? So I've always found personally for myself, I don't know how this holds true for y'all, but me, whenever it's around this week, I find myself getting in my bag. Like, I don't know if it's just a shift in seasons, but whatever. So I guess this might be happening with y'all too. The Three of Swords is always a card that can ring as very painful, can ring as dealing with a lot of trauma with relationships with people that we care about, hence the Three Swords in the fucking heart. But also remembering that this card usually comes up when you are playing yourself, when you're playing yourself and using other people as toys to play yourself with, you know, if that, you know, like whatever. So really being mindful of the wounds that are healing, the ways that we continue to allow others to stick those knives in ourselves, and the ways that in a way we're guiding their hands to do so, right? So kind of backtracking towards last week, if you did kind of go on the path of sharing more than you should with other people, this is when you're going to see how shit is developing and how people are handling your ideas, how people are handling the closeness that they have with you, or it could even be things in terms of very personal information, in terms of secrets, in terms of like learning deep things about you, right? So this is where we learn how people show up in the act of that. Are they helping you heal these wounds? Are they helping you pull the knives out, or are they putting the knives in, right? So the herb that moves around with it, the plant that goes with this is pleurisy root. I've never ever worked with pleurisy root in my life, but it does feel very similar in energy to sage to me. This is what's just coming up for me. So this is mostly in terms of moving away the fog that comes with heartache, moving away the pain that we speak of in terms of heartache, and just moving in a way that's more strong. Another interesting thing about this, the Three of Swords, is it's always resonated as the song Love Hurts for me. Love Hurts by Incubus. So it's like love hurts, but sometimes it's a good hurt, and it makes me feel alive, right? So being more mindful of other things that can make you feel alive, and being mindful of the fact that every heartache is a lesson. Every pain that we deal with a friend is a lesson. And if we choose to learn these lessons and continue, we become stronger, we become more built, and we become more forgiving. So being aware of the midst of that. And folks who learn that lesson, who take in that lesson from the world, become the empress, right? You can be basking in this creative juice, this creative stew that comes. So at this point, you know, we're already like a week in, almost 2 weeks in to Jupiter in Sagittarius. We're a couple days away from Sag season, but this week does start with Sag season. And you're kind of just starting to feel the brightness. You're feeling that vibration in the heart, in the sacral chakra, in that whole region. And paying attention to the ways that your body will respond to that, the ways that pleasure and sensuality will really guide you to where you need to be creatively. So even as you're speaking, if words give you vibrations, they give you a certain thrill, go for that. This is the time of pleasure seeking. This is the time of expansion and new opportunities. I don't quite remember what transit it is. I think it's Uranus and Aries, but that's a transit we're kind of moving into, and it's really just us breaking down the things that tell us we cannot have fun, that we cannot explore, and breaking down what that really means for us. So me versus someone else. Someone else might find, you know, camel riding in fucking Egypt as an adventure. To me, I can see that as hiking. Some people might